Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. You know, some fighters, it's just a privilege to watch them. And Oleksandr Usyk is one of those guys. He knocks out Daniel Dubois in the fifth round of their rematch. 2 knockdowns in the fifth round. Daniel was on one knee, badly shaken, demoralised instantly, as we've seen before with Daniel. If things do not go his way, he does not know how to adapt mentally. And he took the count, and it was just an exemplary performance by a true fistic maestro, Oleksandr Usyk, who, you know, I thought the fight would end perhaps as it did, but later on in the fight, because I thought to start with, Oleksandr might be a little bit conservative, you know, one of the first couple of rounds, just have a look at, Dubois, see the improvements if there were any, maybe, just take his time and then gradually diffuse the bomb in front of him. Oh, no, none of that. No, he started straight away. And by the end of the first round, he'd half diffused the bomb already. Loads of feints, loads of twitches, all that stuff. Beautiful footwork, keeping himself just in range, but, not too far to get out of trouble if Daniel lunged forward. All those feints and twitches were putting Daniel off steaming in. We all know he hits like a truck. He's physically a very, very strong man. But Usyk looking bullish himself. If you doubted that this guy's a heavyweight, I mean, he's absolutely a heavyweight and has been for some time now. With modern technique, with modern nutrition, with modern training methods, you can structure yourself into being a heavier weight person without putting too much wear and tear on the ligaments and certain muscle injuries and everything. He's done it the correct way, in other words. And of course, he lives the life. He's a consummate professional. Southpaw Daniel coming in looking for the big bombs, couldn't let his hands go. There just wasn't enough. There weren't enough half moments to give Daniel enough confidence to let his hands go. It was always, okay, is he nearly there? Is he? Okay. No, not yet. No. Next thing you know, half a minute's gone by. And so, the jab from Usyk was on point. He was bringing the southpaw backhand over very well. Again, perfect, absolutely perfect footwork to just keep himself on the periphery of what was going on. On the occasions, there were 1 or 2 occasions in the first couple of rounds when Usyk found himself sort of in the corner, didn't bother him at all, swiveled off the ropes, again, timing perfect. Next thing you know, he's standing right in the middle of the ring, and suddenly Daniel's like, where the fuck did he go? Oh, he's in the middle of the ring. And suddenly the advantage of pushing him back, of maybe an opportunity to be the bully, weren't happening. Now, Dubois, physically, he's very strong and he hits extremely hard. But, like I use this phrase, diffuse the bomb. And that, to me, is what Usyk does with big punches, with bigger men. He doesn't give them a chance. Like, Daniel's just got this fantastic jab when he gets it going. And, he just never had a chance to use it. The jab was taken off him within the first round or two. He didn't know when to fire the correct punches. He didn't know. He wasn't given an opportunity. Usyk sort of fluctuates between having quite a high guard and lowering his hands when he's sort of not long range. He'll lower his hands, so it might create the impression that he's there to be hit. But of course, if you throw your punches long, very few fighters have the ability to throw long punches and to maintain the power on the end of the punch. So even on the rare occasions when Daniel was landing the right hand, which they were few and far between, Usyk took them well. And Usyk has a good chin anyway. But, having said that, in the third round, I thought Daniel had a better round. I gave him the third round. I thought in the first half of that round, he was showing a bit more industry. Usyk was a little bit more reticent. Was really, I think, maybe he was just drawing Daniel's sting. You never know with this guy. He's so intelligent. But Daniel, in the first 90 seconds, 2 minutes of the round, I thought did enough to win it, even though, I'm talking about the third round now, even though Usyk came on stronger towards the end of the round, I still thought, okay, I'll give Daniel that round. Fourth round was sort of, again, it wasn't, Usyk will sort of chop you up, he'll dissect you. There won't be one enormous punch he won't look for one punch. Everything he throws is designed to gradually dissect you, gradually pull you apart, like pulling the wings off a fly. And then in the fifth round, again, Daniel probably getting a bit more desperate, started to huff and puff a bit. There were loads of those backhands that landed on Daniel's jaw, by the way, throughout the fight. And they were hard, and you could see the spray coming off Daniel's face. And when they showed it back in slow-mo, you could see that there was, he was grimacing, that they were having an effect. And then in the fifth round, Daniel was trying to get Usyk in a corner. There was an exchange of combinations, and Usyk threw another backhand, another southpaw backhand, which crashed onto Daniel's side of Daniel's face, puts him over. He gets up looking, as shocked as someone who expects things to go one way and then they go another way can look. You thought, okay, is Usyk going to... Now, Usyk, when he smells blood, he's a killer. I mean, he does have that spiteful nastiness about him. And sure enough, he goes in. He again, Daniel not really knowing what's going on, not really knowing what to do. Bang, 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 combination. Again, moves in perfectly with the feet to position himself for an enormous left hand again from Usyk, which crashes onto the side of Daniel's head, and down he goes. He had that sort of stunned split second before he hit the floor. He was conscious. He got onto, I think, one knee, was it? And the referee, but he wasn't getting up. I think he knew where he was. But again, as we've talked about this with Daniel Dubois before, because he has that, I don't really know how else to phrase it. He is kind of on the spectrum. If he's not autistic, if he doesn't suffer from Asperger's or something like that, he does a very good impression of someone who does. And people like that, when you take them immediately out of their comfort zone, what they've been told, what they're expecting, immediately they're all at sea. They don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do. And Daniel was on the floor twice. The second time, I think he was stunned, but he knew where he was, and he just sat out. The referee finished the count, and Usyk, fifth round knockout, of course, went crazy. Afterwards, he talked about possibly a Joseph Parker fight. I think Parker and Ajit Kabayel, as I've said many times before, are the two people I think deserve a shot. Oleksandr Usyk. Of the two, I think Kabayel stands a better chance, although I would pick Usyk to beat either of those guys. Body work from Kabayel is very good, but he can be hit. I mean, I'd pick Usyk to beat Kabayel. I'd certainly pick him to stop Parker. And I like Kabayel and I like Parker. I think they're two very, very good heavyweights. But this guy is a maestro for the ages, Oleksandr Usyk, a great, great fighter. And the writing was on the wall pretty early. I mean, in rounds 3 and 4, those left-hand backhands were landing flush on Daniel. And there's nothing wrong with Daniel's chin. I mean, he proved against Ergovic he's got a great chin. But unfortunately, I think actually that the first knockdown was a right hook, wasn't it? Thinking about it. And then the finishing punch was a left hook or a left cross, because they were exchanging. It was, did I say it was the first knockdown, the one in the corner was a left hand? I think it was actually a right hook that came over, because there was a combination thrown. I think the one that did Daniel in was the right hook. But definitely the one that knocked him out was a straight left, because that sent his eyes spinning into separate orbits. I mean, he's just a maestro. And he said afterwards, 38 is nothing. 38 is just the beginning, he said. He seemed a little bit non-committal in his broken English about whether he's going to carry on, what he will do. But, my God, this guy can fight. In any era, any heavyweight era, this guy would have been ultra competitive. Any heavyweight era. And I'm in my late 50s now. I lived through the 90s. Believe me, Usyk would fit in fine there. If you look at the 70s, which I don't really remember because I was too young, that's when I started watching boxing towards the end of the 70s. But you know, even the two eras that Muhammad Ali straddled, you know, the 60s and 70s, those two careers that Ali had, Usyk's a threat. Usyk is a great heavyweight, and yeah, let's appreciate him while he's here. As for Daniel Dubois, he's still a leading heavyweight. Clearly, he like AJ and Tyson Fury is second fiddle to this guy Usyk, who has beaten all three of those twice, legitimately on every occasion. There's no controversy in any of those fights. He beat them legitimately. Best of his era without a shadow of a doubt, Usyk. And would you put him in your all-time top 10 heavyweights? I mean, I don't like making those judgments while someone is still active, but it's beginning to look that way, isn't it? Hell of a fighter. Hell of a fighter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what did you think of it? Are you as impressed as I am? And I had, in a sense, my opinion of Usyk hasn't increased because I knew he was that great. I've always felt he's great. Of course, there is the fact that Don Charles has. I did videos, and a lot of people have talked about Don Charles's attitude towards Usyk, and you know, all that fake outrage and doubting his, his sincerity of his faith and so on and so forth, and calling him a liar and all this sort of stuff. I think there are a lot of people who are going to be quite delighted that Don Charles has been left with, you know, more egg on his face than Conor Benn could eat. But for Daniel, despite all the people he's got around him, for Daniel, I do have some sympathy because I think he's just not a very bright kid, and I just think he's kind of manoeuvred. Like I said before, he's like a vehicle that these people around him sit in and steer. But there's no autopilot, you know what I mean? There's no, yeah, he'll come back though. I mean, he's only 27, Daniel, he can come back. But he won't be a great heavyweight simply because he does not have that variety. He does certain things extremely well, which are too much for most. But when you put him in with, you know, another fighter, someone of the sheer brilliance of Usyk, he's not going anywhere. I mean, would you pick Daniel to beat Tyson Fury if Fury came back? I don't know. If Fury's got 75% left, if he can muster 75% of his best performance, I'd pick him to beat Dubois. And again, that's not to say Dubois is a bad fighter. He's not. But as you know, we talk about levels, don't we? I mean, most fighters aspire to be an A+ elite fighter. Oleksandr Usyk is an A++. Great fighter. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Class act as well outside the ring, Usyk. Absolute credit to his country, to himself, to his family, and to boxing as well. But let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and also if you could, you know, subscribe to the channel. You are more than welcome. Please come and join us. Build the channel up. And I always appreciate the comments that you leave. I'm going to have a read of them. Let me know your opinions. I'm looking forward to reading them. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.